Teresa Swanstrom Anderson has discovered that trials and testings are the making of us. They grow our faith and ready us for more of what the Lord has in store. She now says the plans she had for her life were beautifully interrupted when God holds the pen that writes your story, is encouraging, challenging, full of wonderful quotes and Bible teaching, the lessons from God's Word that encouraged you. And can I quote your mom? Mom's wisdom: blessed are the flexible, for they shall not be bent out of shape. Wow. Afraid of kids and Africa, and God brings both into your life like a tsunami. Yeah. Tell us what you and Ben embraced. First of all, you had two lovely boys.
We did, yeah, two little blondies, we call them. At the time, they were 3 and 4 when we brought home our first baby girl. And then we just kept bookending our kids and doing everything we're not supposed to do.
Yeah, like a little Imani, just, I'm sure she would have died so malnourished. And those children, the love and the nutrition, just is like watering a plant that's choking. They just come to such wonderful life. And there would be ultimately 2 girls. Mm-hmm. And I think the biggest challenge was adopting a teenager. I mean, even last week, I saw a woman, a single female pastor in Oklahoma. God told her to adopt this teenage boy from the foster system. Even the people in her church said, you don't want to do that. You're buying into trouble. And what ended up happening was something that influenced not just the young man's life and her life, but the whole community, creating an interest in just risking and giving those teenagers a home. You got the same message.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah. Well, I think the hard thing is, as of, you know, we had all of our family, all of our friends praying for wisdom and discernment over bringing home kids that are biologically, or, you know, older than our biological children. And we got, you're so naive, you're going to destroy your family, you're doing too much too fast. Not a single person supported us, not one. And we got scared and kind of said, okay, well, I think that's maybe not for us after all. But ultimately, we realized, you know, God does crazy things. And people say all the time, God's not going to give you more than you can handle. That is not true. It is not in the Bible anywhere I have looked. And He does give you more than you can handle. But, you know, those moments that you hold white knuckle to Him and remember just how desperately we need Him.
Oh, that was just one of my favorite quotes. Shannon Martin: falling into the will of God takes guts and grit we don't have. Of course we're nervous. We can't handle this alone. And that's precisely the point.
Yeah.
Desperately dependent on God.
Yeah.
And what did people see? We've obviously had to condense a journey of how many years through all these adoptions?
Yeah, it's been 7 years.
7 years. The children's ages now?
Now.
Let's have the picture. Let's have the picture. Look at the picture. I hope we can see even more than one. Go ahead.
Yeah, they
Tell us,
are 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and 18.
Beautiful family. And I mean, your 2 boys, how did they embrace all this change and growth? And I mean, these are children who come with cultural baggage. Some have been traumatized.
They, you know, even a child taken from the hospital, there's still trauma there. And I think that we forget that. So I'm not gonna sugarcoat it and say it's been easy all the time. It's not been unicorns and rainbows every moment, but it's been so very worth it. And just showing unconditional love no matter what, and showing Jesus and clinging to Jesus the whole time.
We can tell just by looking at that picture. Just by looking at you and your long, from high school you wanted pink hair.
I did,
right,
20 years. It took me the guts to do it.
Right. I mean, this is just part of your growth, the creativity bug, that your artistic bug is all over everything you do. We just have to look at you and see that God honored that. He put all those desires in your heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you most want your readers, not just of your book, your blogs, what do you want them to take away from your journey?
Yeah. I think that I just want to have them see themselves in it. I don't want for someone to pick up the book and think it's a book about adoption. It is not. I mean, that's part of my story, and my story is adoption in Africa. Their story is going to be completely different because God tailor makes, you know, plans and dreams and aspirations and assignments for each of us. So just finding what those are and trusting God enough that He actually does know what He's doing.
It's a wonderful story. And here's another wonderful quote. Nelson Mandela, no less, said, "There is no passion to be found playing small in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living." The Apostle Paul said, "I urge you to live a life worthy of the calling you have received." Worthy is your publisher. Yes. Name of the publisher. And God, here's God's commitment. He says his plan is good, pleasing, ultimately, and perfect.
Yeah.
We wouldn't want to miss that, Teresa, would we?
No.
Because we're being held back by fears.
Right. And He doesn't say easy, but it's worth it completely.
Well, look at this woman with all those people waiting for her at home. Wow, that's a message right there. Teresa, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you've been encouraged, beautifully interrupted. Let God do it. Stay put. Back with more.